Hello, thank you very much for watching this like little review video, except I think it's like 30 minutes long, so like oh well. But thank you. So initially I had planned on releasing this video, the initial like the first half of this video really early on. Like I pulled the books at the beginning of October and I read them, and then I was basically ready to go to record it. Didn't have time, and then I just decided, you know what, I'll just pull two more books and then combine it all into one video. And so that's what I did. That's what we have here. So it's 4 book pulls and 4 reviews. Did I pull a spooky book for Halloween? Well, I guess you'll see. Thank you very much for watching. If you do like these videos, please like and subscribe. It does help motivate me to keep going. I mean, I'm going to keep going anyway, but I'll get these videos out faster maybe. I wonder if maybe having 4 reviews at a time makes for a more substantial watch. So maybe I should stick to that, but I don't know. Still, I'm plodding along with getting this TBR box challenge completed on my end so I can move on to my next own personal challenge, but it has been really fun. I'm very grateful. There's one thing I'm not happy about, but you'll hear about it. You'll hear about it throughout the rest of the video, so enjoy! Hello, welcome back. It is me, Trip Starlake, with 2 books to review and 2 books to pull for my TBR. My to be read with a twist challenge thing. I know I have a real like title for this challenge, but it's just, I don't know, I get tongue-tied and I'm just pulling books that people submitted. And then I made mini books out of them, and I also made mini books of my personal TBR my physical personal TBR that I have, because I just have these books and I need to read them, and I haven't pulled one since May, but that's okay. We're here. So this time I read 2 books. I read Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson and Dead Demons Destruction by Asano Inio. That one's actually a manga series. Did I read it all? Find out soon! So, I didn't get physical copies of either of them, so I'm just going to show them on screen here. I'll talk about Tress of the Emerald Sea first because I read it first. It's by Brandon Sanderson, as you can see. This book is obviously about Tress and the Emerald Sea, right? I don't really need to say much more, right? Yeah, I'll give a real explanation. Tress lives a peaceful life on an island surrounded by an emerald green ocean. She spends her days collecting cups, washing windows, and listening to her friend Charlie weave stories to her. Everything is going well until one day, Charlie's father forces him to leave the island in search of a bride. This is a problem as Tress has finally realized that she's in love with Charlie, and now it is too late to confess. Time passes, disaster strikes, and Tress decides she is going to board a ship to go find Charlie, and then a dangerous journey ensues, as ultimately Tress's goal is to go to the deadly Midnight Sea where the sorceress lives. She also has the challenge of just making it to the Midnight Sea, which involves traversing a sea that is not water, but green spores that erupt into vines when met with fresh water. Yeah, I didn't mention it earlier, but the Emerald Green Ocean is not a water ocean, it's a spore ocean. And also there's a talking rat. That's a pretty good explanation, I think. This was my first Brandon Sanderson book, and the further and further I got into reading it, the more I thought, maybe this isn't the best Sanderson book to start with. As the language, the way this book is written is, it reads like it's trying to sound like a Terry Pratchett novel at times. I felt this through like the whole book, and as I got to the afterword, I saw that, yeah, Sanderson literally says that his inspirations were The Princess Bride and like Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and that other author. So I guess, I don't know, I felt validated in feeling that way the whole time. The characters that Tress meets along the way are all pretty lovable, and I did start to enjoy reading this book even though it plods along at a super slow rate in my opinion. This is a solid story, but there's so much pointless meandering. Usually I like it when a third POV narrator is actually a character in this novel, but I didn't like it this time at all. He talks too much. But perhaps him talking too much is just to veil the fact that Tress is pretty much a Mary Sue in personality and actions. There just wasn't enough about her that made her feel real to me. Like, I was rooting for her, but it was also just like, well, obviously everything's going to work out for her because everything does. I didn't actually feel that way about a lot of the other characters, so it felt weird that Tress herself was written that way. I don't know. Like, I didn't dislike Tress, but there also wasn't anything for me to, like, fall in love with her. Everyone else was, so why do I have to? I don't know. Anyway, the world building was a little bit like, don't worry about it. I explained my worlds in a lot more detail in my other Cosmere books. So, like, I don't know, whatever. It's fine, I guess. I think that's my review overall for this book. Like, it was fine, I guess. I could tell Sanderson really loves writing, and I think some parts worked really well, and some parts really dragged on or just kind of bad. I wish he had trimmed the fat off this novel. Like, this book is very much inspired by The Princess Bride, and I think that's fun. You know, I don't know if actually how many people know this, but the actual novel of The Princess Bride was intentionally published as the abridged version of the novel. And like in the tagline, it's like, The Princess Bride with only the fun stuff, and we leave out all the boring stuff. Like, it's a joke. There is no unabridged version of the novel. It was published on purpose that way. But I wish that this book was like that too. I also want to thank my friend for letting me borrow the copy of this book. I would have been waiting for this book for forever from the library because there was a long hold list. And I'm just not going to spend money on a Sanderson novel. I'm sorry. If you know, you know. Yeah, it's okay. This book was fine. Like, Sanderson is a competent writer, and I can see that. The writing style just wasn't my thing. And I don't know. I think if you really like Sanderson, you might be like, ooh, Cosmere tidbits or something. I don't really know any of them. I just know that some of the characters that were mentioned were from other novels because they basically told me they were in the book. I don't know. Your mileage may vary. I read some reviews that hated the stylistic difference of Sanderson and some people that loved it. I think this book would be really good if you were like a teenager, honestly. It reads like young adult fiction. It's like a little bit of an edge to it. It was all right. I'm not mad I read it, but I kind of wish that I hadn't read this after I read like several other fairy tale like stories that I pulled from the TBR box, but it is what it is. The rating might have been higher if I hadn't, but because I'm kind of like burned out on fairy tale like stories, but that's okay. It is what it is. Sorry to big fans of Sanderson. Please don't throw stones at me. Please. The next book that I read, well, it's like the next manga series that I read, is Dead Demons, Dead Destruction by Asano Inio. You may know Asano Inio. He also wrote and drew Goodnight Poon Poon. I think that's what he's most known for, but this is like, I think this is his latest work to be published for this series. I think the easiest way to pitch this for those who I think will be watching this video is that Dead Demons Destruction is like the chillest alien invasion. It's like a slice of life anime. The end of the world is here, and yeah, there might be like a giant UFO sitting over Tokyo, but you still have to go to school, and you still want to play video games and hang out with your friends. 3 years ago, aliens invaded Tokyo, but most of what happened was just a UFO looming over Tokyo, and people kind of moved on with their lives. No one knows what to do about this big UFO because modern weapons don't do anything to it. The situation in this manga is extremely serious. Like, the world situation is very serious, but our main characters are teenagers, and so the alien problem is not for them to solve, at least at the start, but that doesn't stop them from tracking the aliens' movements on social media and radio. Like, it's taken over their lives because, you know, you look up and you see a giant UFO, but they're just kind of living with it. Many chapters of this manga felt like I was reading Japanese literary fiction, but with pictures. Or at least it reminded me of the Japanese literary fiction I have read. I really mean it when I said that this is an alien invasion story, but from a very, like, sidelined, much more like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, like, perspective, honestly. It's satire for sure. The citizens of Earth still need to go about their daily lives, even though things got a lot spookier when the alien UFOs showed up. The story is about a lot of things, like what it would be like growing up living with the horrors happening all over the world. But you don't live in those areas, so life just proceeds as normal for you. It's pointedly reminiscent of how I think a lot of us live today. Like, yes, there's war, there are natural disasters, climate change is looming over us, but my student loans are due, so I guess I'll go to work. It's like super millennial in that way. Also, the art is like impeccable. It's astounding to me how well this author draws backgrounds. Like, it's insane. Like, and all the character details are really all the characters look a little like, they look very cartoony, but they all have extremely distinct faces. Even some of the girls, there's like a group of high school girls, in this book, and I think sometimes they look a little similar, but there's just enough distinction between every different character that they really all stand out, and I think that's really impressive. It's very, very well drawn. But overall, back to like the story itself, this is a really slow manga series. It was so slow I thought I was going to be satisfied with reading a few volumes and then coming to you with a review, but I just kept reading chapter after chapter. Got so into it. I read this 100 chapter series in a matter of like 2 days or something like that. There are some elements I really don't like in this manga, like Katode, please get better taste in men. Oh my god. But overall, I found the storytelling masterful. Because the story is so incredibly slow paced, you're able to feel the same level of peace with a twinge of unease that the entire world probably feels like in this novel. Every time an alien shows up, the tension rises, but then it falls back down as we flip back into the daily lives of Kadode and Oran. The last 10 chapters of the series are like way different than the rest, but I'll leave that to you so you can go experience it for yourself. I'm really glad I read this, actually. I honestly would not have given it a second thought if it wasn't in this book box, and I kind of recommend you try it too. Like, I know that I used to give like, you should read this if, and you should not read this if, but I think I'm just gonna say, I think you should try it. I think you should try this series. It really surprised me with how well it was. Even though it's really slow, it was really well paced at the same time. It was really purposeful pacing that I just don't find a lot in manga, honestly. I think a lot of the time when I read manga, the mangaka, the authors, are just like, their pants are on fire and they're like running to get the next chapter out. But this was a really, really like slow, purposeful manga. Even if manga isn't really your thing, I think you should try it. Because this is a little different, I think, than most manga. I really mean it when I compare it to Japanese literary fiction. It's just Japanese literary fiction with pictures. Yeah, that's it for the review. So let's move on and draw some new books. It's time. Here we go. Considerably less books to pull now, but I still think I'm only like halfway through maybe doing this, maybe, or I don't know. Sorry, this like entire project is taking me way longer to complete than I thought it would, but that's okay. I'll just continue it into 2026. I don't mind. So I'm gonna pull 2 books again because I think that's like realistic for me. My wishes. I have a lot of spooky books in this book box, and I really would like to pick a spooky book for Halloween month. That's what I want. We'll see if it happens though. I don't know. I'm gonna stick my hand in here. I'm gonna go like that. No, I'll prop it up like this. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna shut my eyes. I have like 3. I'm gonna pick this one. Yeah, I don't know if this counts as a spooky book, but maybe. This is How to Become the Dark Lord or Die Trying by Django Wexler. I don't know a ton about this novel. I know it's like a girl. Okay, I just did a quick look up on this book. It is what I thought this book is what I thought it was. The book is like Groundhog Day, but if you're like a hero in a fantasy world. Main character's name is Davi. And she has become the hero. She's defeated the Dark Lord, and she's done all these things. She's trying to make these changes, but she has a time loop that's affecting her, and she just keeps, like, time just keeps restarting, and she keeps having to, like, redo her whole life again and again. And I think she's done with being the hero in the time loop and is going to try to be the Dark Lord. Or maybe she just wants to die because she's time looped too many times. I'm not sure. So I'll read that soon. That's exciting. This book actually is the book that I submitted for myself. And I'm hoping I can get it from the library quickly. Woo! And the second one, well, actually, I'll put it up here. This one can chill out here while I'm pulling. The second one. Oh, I have so many spooky books. Please. Well, this one I pulled last is probably pretty okay, but yeah. Which one do I want? I want this one. Oh my god, I got one of my books. I'm so happy. Is this one of my books? Yeah. Okay. So I haven't pulled one of my own books since May. So even though this isn't a Halloween-y book, that's okay. I think How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying is a little Halloween-y, so I'll be satisfied there. This is a book that I own. It's called Until We Shatter, and I'm going to actually just grab the book. Here's the book, actually. Until We Shatter by Kate Dillon. I think this book is about... It's a heist book. I think that's why I got this book. I like heists a lot. A lot of heist books disappoint me, but I'm hopeful here. I know a girl that's a thief is going to try to save her mother because she got sick or something, but she has to team up with people that are dangerous, and she has like the deal of her getting like a bunch of money is like, obviously it's complicated, and I think it has something to do against the church in this world, and I'm not really sure. I'll tell you about it when I'm done with it. But I'm happy to read it. This is I know this is an LGBT novel, so that will be fun to read. This is the Illumicrate version, so it has like stuff on the back. It has sprayed edges, so that's kind of neat. I think, let's see, yeah, you can see all the characters on the inside. Cool. Wait, you can't see all the characters because there you go. You can see all the characters, see the cover. Ooh, like a basilica. That's pretty cool. What does this side have? Ooh, characters. Wow. And then the back side. Ooh. Okay, very pretty cover. Happy for that. All right. Well, I'm excited to read a book that I actually own because I haven't. I haven't since May. And then I'm going to read How to Become the Dark Lord or Die Trying. So I'm excited about that. I'll read these two books. I'm excited that I finally have a physical book to be like, hee hee, look at my mini book in this book. Even though this Until We Shatter copy is not the same as this one. But, well, actually it's pretty close. It's just a recoloration. So, actually, never mind. It's basically the same. All right. So, it's a bummer. I have several, like, definitely Halloween-y, like, horror books that I could have pulled, but that's okay. At least I'm getting a book off of my bookshelf. So, I'll see you soon. Hopefully before the end of October. Maybe I could get 2 in this month. We'll see.
One eternity later.
I'm going to talk about books. I have these 2 little books here, but I also have the physical ones here as well of these 2 books. So it's not actually uploaded on YouTube yet because I finished these books quite quickly. And you'll know why soon. But yeah, I pulled How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying, and I pulled Until We Shatter by Kate Dillon. So How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying, oh boy. So this is about a woman named Davi who has been reborn as a so-called hero in another world. She has tried to become the hero and take out the Dark Lord hundreds of times, but none of them have ever worked. Every time she is killed, and then she gets sent back in time, and then she has to start the quest all over again. She's fed up with looping through time for the gajillionth time. What? That's too many times. And then Davi decides, well, if the Dark Lord is going to win every time, then I'll just become the Dark Lord. Surely that will end my time loop. And so we follow her on a quest to become a evil person. She then abandons her hero quest. I was listening to this book on my way home from the eye doctor after my old man, Uni, he's a cat, had an appointment with an eye doctor. Yeah, and I thought as we were heading home, I was like, he shouldn't be listening to this. He just had his eyes dilated and he has to go back into a cage in a car. We don't need this audio to make it worse on him. And so I turned it off. And then I realized I don't want to listen to this anymore either. Ultimately, I picked this book to put in the book bowl for myself because I thought that I would like it. Like, I don't own this book. This is from my library. It has like the lamination on it, but I got the audiobook too because I thought maybe it'd be nicer to read that way. But yeah, ultimately now I have beef with myself for wasting my time. Wasting my own time. Why did I think this would be good? Yeah, I should have read the prologue before dedicating a whole mini book to this, honestly. Guess I just thought after I had a good time reading Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman, I thought I would like this book too, but they just have extremely different perspectives and goals in their storytelling. They both use a ton of crude language in their writing, but Matt Dinneman has like a lot more finesse with his crude language, and Django Wexler just was like throwing it around like, hey, look at this edgy language, isn't that funny, I'm 13. And I just didn't think it was funny or entertaining at all. I do definitely think there's an audience for this book, but at its base level, it's just a time loop isekai with a woman main character. But she was so apparently written by a man, it kind of grossed me out. I have seen plenty of people all across the gender spectrum enjoying this, though, so I'm not telling you not to give it a go if this sounds interesting to you, but understand that your mileage may vary, and the language is very edgy, in my opinion. That's all I really have to say about this book. My final thought is, it wasn't for me, and I would rather read something else from my book box, so I stopped reading it. And that is How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying. My next book is, I actually owned this book. It had been, literally, I did the math, it had been until May. I have not pulled a book from my book bowl thing that I actually owned that was part of my own actual TBR since May. So I was pretty happy to draw anything, actually, from that. And I got Until We Shatter. Now, I want to say first, this is a really pretty copy of this book. It has sprayed edges. This is a special Illumicrate edition that I got, and it has like a really pretty interior, really pretty cover. Altogether, it's quite nice. It's signed, so that's nice. The cardstock, though, because of these sprayed edges, it's like, why are these pages like literally a cardstock feeling? Like they feel like the kind of like an insert that I would like. You know those cards that you can get at the store that have like little like paper, I don't know. I guess it just feels like literally I bought a card at the store and not like a book. I didn't like that at all. The feel bad. But that is not what we're here to review. We're here to review the contents of the book. Until We Shatter is about... Oh, Until We Shatter by Kate Dillon, I suppose I should say. At least once. This is about a world where some people have magic and some people don't have magic. And when people with magic have babies with people who do not have magic, you get a diluted half-magic person. Society has deemed these half-magics incredibly dangerous and are to be essentially killed on sight at birth, basically. The magic system is a rainbow-based system. A full person with magic is called like a shade, and they have like some kind of color magic, like red is control magic, green is healing magic, etc., etc. But those born with like a half magic, they're called hues. And they have more specific abilities than just green is heal. It's more like emerald is calming magic, whatever. Our main character, Samilla, is a hue, obviously. So she has had to keep her true self secret for most of her entire life. Fortunately, she has met other hues who are also in hiding. So it's not like she has zero friends, but when her mother falls ill, Samilla has no choice but to turn into a thief with her friends. Eventually, she is offered a job that could solve all her problems, but obviously it is going to be a very dangerous game. This novel is about heist magic meeting a dangerous boy who works with Samilla on the heist, and the price of big organizations purposefully putting out misinformation into the world. My opinion on the book, when I first started reading this book, I very quickly checked reviews for the book, and I on Fable and whatnot, and I was like, oh, I'm worried. Because it doesn't have a very good average. But honestly, this book is fine. Like, in fact, it was probably the most, like, book where I'm like, it was fine. Yeah, honestly, this book was fine. I'll talk about what I liked about this book first. The book was fast-paced, and I was happy to read something that plods along at this kind of pace after many slower books that I had read, like, one after another. There's a really, from my understanding, pretty decent disability representation. One of the characters are deaf, and the heist team goes out of their way to make things easier for this deaf character to understand what they're saying, and that was kind of neat. It is brought up a lot, though. Like, I think at a certain point, like, we could just assume that everyone was using sign language to talk to the girl, but this author has felt the need to, like, write it down every single time that they were. I have a few actual gripes with the story, though. Like, that's just like I'm like, why overwriting a little bit? I guess that could be a gripe. I don't know. But yeah, I couldn't decide if this book should have been shorter or longer. And the more I think about it, I think it should have been longer. The magic is said to be extremely dangerous by the church, which is just like an idea more than an actual entity in this world because of how little we actually know about it. And then when we do find more about it, it's presented like bullet points in a textbook, and it wasn't satisfying at all. It's like, okay, we have rainbow magic, and everyone has special. Here, I mean, I can just show it. The 7 shades of magic are like red, orange, yellow, whatever. But like the hues, half magic people have more specific powers. Like green has like the ability to calm people if it's not full magic or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just like I had a lot of questions, like how is one even born with a magic color? How do the shades and the hues, like people with full magic and half magic, actually differentiate? Because we know they do, but we mostly only see hues in action and only briefly get to see shades do much of anything. The plot is a bit disjointed to the point where I felt like the author cut a chunk of the book out to get the plot moving, or just like, I don't know, like the editor told her she had to cut like 50 pages out of this book, is what it felt like. I like that the story was so fast paced, but by the end I couldn't help but feel like something was missing because of it. I mean, this as mostly a compliment here, but this actually felt like I was reading a Marissa Meyer novel. Marissa Meyer wrote the Lunar Chronicles, if you happen to know anything by her. I think Marissa Meyer has she has like really, really good ideas for stories, but she never quite executes them that well. Like she like almost gets there, but misses a few points. And ultimately, I think that Kate Dillon did a better job. No offense. Yeah, like ultimately I liked the message of this book. I really appreciate what the author was trying to get across. In this world that you and I live in, there's like a seemingly constant barrage of misinformation, and I like that this novel is basically a statement about the harms of misinformation, the harm of not communicating the truth, not only by authority groups but by parents, friends, coworkers, etc. If you do like Marissa Meyer books and general YA fantasy, I think you will like this book, but if that's not your thing, I would say don't bother. It's like fine. It seriously is like the most fine book I read this year. Like I had no issues reading it. I liked it enough. It was fine. So those are these 2 books that I read. I didn't finish How to Become a Dark Lord and Die Trying, but that's okay. It was too edgy for me. So I'm going to draw 2 new books. Okay, so I didn't pull any Halloween-y books last time. Like I pulled those 2 books at the very beginning of October, and I still haven't pulled any Halloween-y books. I have like a ton in here, and I would love to pull something spooky. So let's see if my hands can do that. If my hands will betray me. I'm looking for now. Alright, I'm gonna shut my eyes. I'm gonna pull 2 books. But this is the first one. Yee! This one. Ah, I dropped it! I guess it's not the case. What did I get? I got a book. Oh! In the depths of space, a group of students is pitted against each other in a brutal battle for survival, a gripping sci-fi survival horror from rising star manga artist Shiro Kuroi, perfect for fans of Battle Royale and Attack on Titan. Okay, I'll read the first book anyway. And I guess it's like, I don't know if it counts, if Battle Royale counts as, well, what does the tag say? It says it's horror. Okay, fine. I guess that counts as a Halloween pick. Fine! That's not what I had in mind, but it counts. Let's see what else I can get. That's shutting my eyes. I want this one. This is not. Oh, I'm excited to pull one of my books, though. This is one of my books! Hooray! Here it is. It's The Principle of Moments. Like, this copy looks like this. Which is actually pretty good, actually. It actually looks pretty good. But my copy is, like, kind of cool looking. Ooh! Oh, this is, like, way too big. I have to get rid of the book box. Hold on. Yeah, The Principle of Moments by Esme Jakiemi Pearson. So, yeah, I got The Principle of Moments, which is really exciting. This is also an Illumicrate exclusive that I've purchased because it just looks cool. Like, it's a time travel sci-fi book. So, I will be reading this one. It is a love letter to Black readers of science fantasy. The Principle of Moments is a symphonic, century-spanning adventure unmissable for fans of spacefaring found family of Becky Chambers, the alternate London of V.E. Schwab, and the virtuosic climate craft of N.K. Jemisin. I mean, I like N.K. Jemisin. I haven't read the other 2. I am going to be reading, whoa, Leviathan, a manga, and whoa, here, I'll just show you Leviathan, a manga. If it wants to show you it, it probably doesn't. Do it, there we go. By Shiro Kuroi, and The Principle of Moments, which you don't need to see this one, it's right here. By Esme Jakiemi Pearson. I will learn how to say their name for next time.